All right, everybody, welcome. And again, thank you for taking the time to attend today's session, which, as you can see by the screen, we're going to talk about what we believe is a new and better way for you to get ADAS calibration, knowledge, information, and repair procedures. Now, before we get started, everybody's on mute. I would ask they stay on mute until the end. But if you have questions, do me a favor and put them in the chat so that way I can read them off at the end of today's session. And we should have 10 or 15 minutes at the end to be able to answer any questions that are live. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. So here's our agenda. What I'm going to talk about some statistics. We'll talk about some industry challenges. I'm going to provide you with our vision of why we're doing what we're doing. I'm going to introduce you to what I believe is a really important blueprinting process when it comes to ADAS equipped vehicles. And then we're going to introduce you to our new ADAS CoPilot Pro platform. We'll actually demonstrate the platform live for you so you can see how it works live. I'll present you with some FAQs, which we've already created. We'll talk to you about some pricing of the product. And then last but not least, we'll open it up for Q&A when we're done. So for those of you who don't know much about our company, we are focused on three things. We're focused on helping the industry properly estimate, properly calibrate, and properly validate ADAS repairs and calibrations. And it's simple. We want those ADAS systems to operate as designed after that vehicle's been repaired or after that vehicle's been calibrated and before it gets given back to the consumer. So that's what we do. We do it through our ADAS CoPilot, Calibration CoPilot, and Test Drive CoPilot platforms. And today we're going to focus on only one of those platforms, ADAS CoPilot Pro. So some statistics, some ADAS statistics, if you don't know it. Today, there's about 75 million ADAS equipped vehicles on the road. But by 2025, we expect that there'll be about 130 million ADAS equipped vehicles on the road, which will make it a little less than 50% of the vehicle car park. And you can see some of the statistics, some of the sensors that are being implemented in 2020 model vehicles. Okay. So general statistics shouldn't be surprising to anybody. But the next four numbers are what I found really surprising after we did some research. So since 2019, 76% of the vehicles that are on the road have included ADAS or some type of ADAS in the vehicle. And in 2020, late 2020, in CCC's own statistics, only 12.7% of the information they collected in estimates and repair orders included a line for calibration. So to me, that tells me, Houston, we have a problem. Industry, we have a problem. We are not, the industry is not identifying, or maybe they are, and they're just choosing not to have it repaired. But the problem is there's a lot more vehicles that are with ADAS that are being repaired than are being calibrated. That's a challenge, and it's a liability issue for our industry. A couple other statistics I thought were pretty interesting. Several hundred shops were surveyed, and 16% of the shops that were surveyed felt they had the training and the tools they needed to handle ADAS. And then in a recent webinar, Repairify said to the industry that they have found that 50%, 1 out of 2 estimates that they've reviewed, need at least one calibration. Now, I can tell you in visiting calibration facilities that are doing calibrations correctly, the average number of calibrations they are doing is about 1.7 per vehicle. So not only go back to this number here, 12.7%, one line of calibration, but today in most of the calibration centers that are doing calibrations, they're finding 1.7 calibrations need to be done on the vehicle. So statistics. So we've got that. Obviously, one of the challenges the industry has is quickly identifying those ADAS components, the ADAS systems, and as importantly, the required calibrations. Also, and anybody who's a repairer on this session will tell you that there's an awful lot of time and energy being spent in doing research for the ones that are actually doing the research. And last but not least, again, for those of you who are repairers or have looked at documentation that are coming from third-party calibration providers, i.e. dealers, the documentation related to ADAS and calibration is horrible. So the industry's got several challenges ahead of it when it comes to ADAS. And that's what drove us to really get into this business. Because when we started this company in 2019, we knew ADAS was going to be big. We also knew it was going to be a challenge. I was just hoping that our industry would get with it, quote unquote, quicker than they have, but they haven't. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. So, and the challenge is, if you look at these two vehicles on the screen, okay, they drive into the facility. How do you know what's on those vehicles? How do you know where the components are at? How do you know what those components need in terms of a calibration? And if you think about it, when that vehicle comes in, that needs to happen as early as possible for two reasons. Number one, to write a proper repair plan or an estimate. Number two, to make sure you have a conversation with the consumer that says, hey, Mrs. Smith, you know what? Your car has X ADAS components on the vehicle. And because of that, it may require calibrations. It also will require a test drive, which means you may see more mileage on your car than what you have today. So again, it's not easy for someone when a vehicle appears to understand what's on that vehicle. And so our vision is simple, really. We wanted to create the fastest, easiest, and most accurate way for the industry to identify ADAS systems, ADAS components, ADAS component locations, and required calibrations. The other thing we want to do is we want to drastically reduce the amount of time it takes for individuals and businesses to find and research information related to that ADAS or calibration information. And I think we're going to see here this afternoon, you're going to see what we've built is we're trying to create a system that a user can go to for everything ADAS that they need, instead of having to go to seven or eight different websites or platforms. And having been in the industry for 30 plus years, hopefully we're going to help the industry improve its documentation. And at the end of the day, if the vehicle requires a calibration, the repairer is going to be able to generate more revenue because the calibration has to be done. So that's our vision. So let's talk about the workflow of what we believe the workflow should be when it comes to an ADAS equipped vehicle arriving at a facility for repair. And we're calling it the ADAS blueprinting process, okay? Step one, as soon as that vehicle arrives at the facility, I should implement a process in my business that identifies all the ADAS technologies on that vehicle. I should also be able to identify those technologies, where they're located at. And oh, by the way, if I'm R&Ring or R&Ing a component, it should also let me know, do I need to do a calibration or not? So that's step one. Step two, and this is not being done very much at all in our industry at all. The conversation needs to happen with the consumer, educating that consumer on the ADAS components that are on that vehicle, and if they're going to have to be repaired or R&I, because that's going to affect the delivery date of the repair, as well as educate the customer about potential calibrations that need to be done, potential sublet repairs that need to be done, and of course, the test drive at the end of a calibration. And once that's done, the person who's doing this ADAS blueprinting process, at that point, or somewhere immediately thereafter, they should write with a Posca pen on one of the windows all of the ADAS technologies that are on that vehicle. Because once they do that, that vehicle, as it goes through the repair facility, everybody now is going to know it's got adaptive cruise control, blind spot, collision warning, blah, 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 blah. So I think that's a real critical point, a visual point to educate the facility and everybody in it what's on the vehicle. And then step 3 is we need to be able to provide the estimators and blueprinters immediate access to all of the ADAS and calibration repair procedures quickly and easily, so they don't have to spend a ton of time and energy researching for that information. So that's what we're calling the ADAS blueprinting process. And by the way, if you think about what happens today when a vehicle comes in the mapping, this could be an extension of the typical vehicle mapping process. It should be, as a matter of fact. All right, so let's talk a little bit about now the platform. So there's 2 components to the platform. Number 1, the mobile app. Number 2, a web portal. You're going to see both of those, okay? So the idea is when that vehicle arrives, whoever is greeting the customer, it doesn't matter, because all they have to do is scan the VIN. You scan the VIN, and then that person who is greeting the vehicle will have access now to all the ADAS systems on that vehicle. I know you're going to ask the question, well, how do we know it's accurate? I'll talk a little bit about that a little later. So then not only do I know the systems on the vehicle, I know the component or the components, depending on if there's multiple components that affect that system. I know the location of that component. So again, if I'm repairing or replacing that location, I know it's going to affect it. And last but not least, I have the calibration, the type of calibration that will be required for that particular R&I. So I have that for each of the systems. And then, because we're trying to make this one place to go for all ADAS and calibration related information, we also provide access to iCar RTS. We provide easy access to the OEM's information system. We provide videos from the OEM. We provide position statements from the OEM, all related to ADAS and calibrations. So that's on the smartphone, and we'll talk to you about the portal in a minute. So once I've done that, once I've scanned the VIN, now, by the way, I should have that conversation with the customer. Once that's done, that information, that vehicle is now immediately accessible to any estimator, any repair planner, anybody in the facility that is indicated as a user. So now, as a repair planner, you're going to see how it works. I now have access to that VIN and, oh, by the way, all of the systems that are related to that vehicle. Not only do I have information related to the systems, I also have videos associated with that. And I now can toggle open.
I know you're busy. I just thought I'd blow your ear.
I now can toggle open, and now I can actually see each of the.
I didn't see a list yet. No.
Hey, Tom, mute yourself.
You just sent it.
Okay, each of the components. So again, you can see here, this is a Nissan. It's got the adaptive ADAS control unit, the control unit, and it has the ICC sensor. It's telling you where those components are at, and it's telling you what type of calibration it's going to need. So now, as a repair planner and estimator, so the other thing I need to do, what other information do I need to use to make decisions about this repair? So once I press or click as an estimator on that component, I am now taken directly to my all data repair procedures. I don't have to put any search. I don't have to know the name of the component, none of that. I press or click on that component. It takes me to my all data. I click on all data. It takes me to what information do I need to know about the component. And oh, by the way, directly takes me to the all data information repair procedure virtually instantly. So remember I talked about one of our visions was to reduce the amount of time and effort required to do research related to ADAS and calibrations. If you think about what I just showed you, and I'm gonna show you live, think about how much time that will save an estimator or a repair planner in terms of getting access to and doing research related to ADAS and calibrations. Also, as I said, in addition to my all data repair procedures, we provide a ton of other OEM information related to that manufacturer's ADAS system. Again, this is a Nissan, and you can see here, we've got RTS, we've got the Nissan info login page, we've got an overview of the 360 safety shield, and you'll notice at the bottom, we have all the OEM position statements from Nissan related to the ADAS and calibration activities on this vehicle. So try again, as I said, we're trying to make this the place to go for anybody who's doing any repairs or calibrations on an ADAS equipped vehicle. And at the end, when the inspection is done, we also generate a report which can be provided to the consumer, can be put in the claim file. All right, let's talk about a demo. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, give me a minute, make sure I can set this up, is I'm going to move this over to here. So this is actually my phone, okay? And so let me just open this back up. All right, so you'll see here, you've got a VIN barcode here, okay? And then you've got a VIN number there. We're going to use both of those in a minute. But I want to just go through here now, and I want you to watch this phone as I walk through the process. So I press on scan VIN, and now I just put my phone up to that VIN barcode, and you can see here now my phone's asking me, well, Frank, is this the right vehicle? And I'm going to say yes. Now, I can, if I want to, I can enter a repair order number in, and I don't have to if I don't want, but I can. I'm going to bypass it. That quickly, I now have access. I now have access to all of the systems on that vehicle. I can scroll up, and in this case, this vehicle has adaptive cruise control, blind spot, collision warning, cross traffic, driver monitoring system, lane departure, parking assist. Now, if I want to dig into these, okay, I now can go into adaptive cruise control. And again, it's a Nissan, so there's two components. Tells me what the components are, okay? If I want to look at the collision avoidance has three components. It's got the ADAS control units in the trunk. It's got the ICC sensor in the grille. And in this scenario here, it's got a lane camera. Now, if I want to learn more about the ICC sensor, I just press on the ICC sensor. And it now takes me directly to here in terms of information related to all data. If I want to learn about testing and inspection, I can go there. If I want to learn about service precautions, I can go there. I just want to learn about handling. And it's literally going to take me directly into all data right then and there. So again, now I want you to think about this. For those of you who own a shop that are on the call, for those of you who know shop owners, if you think about all data and its use today, where's all data typically located? Oh, it's located on a table, it's located at the end of the shop, or maybe located in 2 or 3 PCs, but someone's got to walk over to that PC to get access to their all data. What we're doing here is we're allowing a person in the shop access to the all data repair procedures anywhere at any time. So if I'm a technician and I've got this on my phone, if I need to learn more about the lane departure system, let me go here. I can go now and talk about testing and inspections, or I can go here and learn about what is it, and it's going to give me all that information immediately. So again, we're trying to, in my world, we're trying to democratize access to repair procedures related to the OEM manufacturers. Again, you'll also notice, as I said here, we talked about position statements, right? So here's a position statement right here about calibration of a round view monitor. Okay, so if I need this, I just press in that link and I have the Nissan document related to calibration of a round view monitor. Now, again, for those of you who own a shop, for those of you who work in a shop, or for those of you who work with people in shops, think about how much time they spend trying to get this information so they can use it as part of their repair procedure. So again, that is how the app works. And anytime I do a scan of a VIN, all of those inspections are saved. Okay. So I can look at those inspections at any time and go back. So that's available to me. All right. So that is the phone. So now I want to show you how, give me a minute here. So the other thing we offer is a portal. So I don't, if I'm a repair planner or if I'm an estimator and I have two monitors, I can now use one monitor for my estimating. And in this case, I'm going to show you real quick. So I just copied and pasted that VIN. I paste the VIN in here. I hit create inspection. It's a 2024 Fusion. Hit view. And now you can see how quickly I have access to that 2024 Fusion's ADAS systems. And again, I can toggle open. And now I could look at each of the components that make up that ADAS system. Remember, when you're diagnosing, when you're calibrating, you're not calibrating a system. You're calibrating a component. So it's important to understand what components make up the system. So that's why we break out each of the component. And by the way, we use the manufacturer's names. And so if I need to learn more about this component, I click on the component. And again, how do I adjust or this lane keeping system? And again, it's going to take me directly to what I need to know about the lane keeping system. So again, what we're trying to do, as I said earlier, or if I need to know more about the calibration, I can go to here to calibration. There's my calibration azimuth test, and there's the information that you need to do on that particular component on this particular Ford. And again, like the phone app, we give additional information related to Ford's ADAS components and calibration requirements. And again, you can see here, RTS, driver assist, videos, as well as position statements and PDFs. So that's the overview of the web portal and how it works, and the phone app, how it works. So based on what we've been working with for the last 6 months, because we've really been testing this for the last 6 months, we're in the final stages of, at the end of the year, we're going to move into commercial. So we believe that by implementing this type of solution in the collision repair, or really anywhere that's dealing with cars, if you think about if you're a collision repair facility, I'm going to save you a ton of time and energy in terms of identification and repair procedures. Think of anybody who's in the used car business. They want to take in a used car. They want to buy a used car. How do they know what they're buying? Again, there's a lot of opportunity for this to be used. But so again, a lot of benefits. As you can see, we identify the components, the systems, the location, and the requirements, calibration requirements virtually immediately. You can see how quickly I'm able to get to the ADAS repair procedures based on our integration with ALLDATA. And you can read all these other bullet points. There's a tremendous amount of benefit for the repair facility or anybody who's repairing or calibrating ADAS equipped vehicles. So some FAQs. So one of the first questions I get from people, well, Terlep, is this build data? Well, the answer is yes and no. We do get some build data from some manufacturers. For those of you who know a little bit about build data is not the cleanest data you can get in terms of usability. So we do get some build data. We do get a lot of our information from window sticker data from vehicles that are sold. But what we do in the background, we license several different databases that are tied to VINs. And so when we scan that VIN, we literally go out to all these different databases to look what ADAS components and things are related to that particular VIN. We look for duplicates. If there's duplicates, we get rid of them. And then we present what we found related to all those different databases. Again, including all data, including iCar, including industry websites. So all of that we use to create the identification. So the other question is, Terlep, are you just presenting what might be on the vehicle, or are you presenting what is on the vehicle? What we are presenting based on the information we're receiving from the databases is actual systems and components that are on that vehicle based on the VIN. Now, from an accuracy perspective, 2017 and newer, 85 and 95%, 2016 and before, the older the vehicle is, the less accurate we become, okay? Can you subscribe to this product today? The answer is no. You can pre-order, but you can't subscribe to it. We are offering anybody who wants to use the system between now and the end of the year, free access, free beta access to go and use it for as much as they want between now and the end of the year. And you can go on our website and sign up for that. So the next question, oh, by the way, we will be releasing this in early January, and we'll talk about the pricing in a minute. Do you need to be an ALLDATA subscriber to use this? The answer is no. But if you want the integration with the ALLDATA repair procedures, the answer is yes, you do need to be a subscriber, because ALLDATA, just like anybody who licenses information from the OEs, has specific licensing requirements that require you to be a user of their system to be able to integrate with ours. It's just, they have to deal with the OEs as well. What model years are covered? 2017 to 2021. We're presently in the middle of going back to 2016. We are not going to go back. When I talk about going back to 2016, we're talking about integration with ALLDATA. We literally go back 2013, 2012. But again, accuracy declines the older the vehicle. And we're presently working on 2022s. But for those of you who use ALLDATA, the 2022 information in ALLDATA is somewhat light, depending on the vehicle. So the integration we have there is what they have available. Do we cover all OEs? Today we do not. We do not cover Mercedes. We do not cover Porsche, which is spelled wrong, shame on us. We do not have Mini yet, and we don't have Volvo. We presently are working on Mercedes. As you well know, or if you don't know, Mercedes is a highly optioned vehicle. And so there's a lot of options that can be added to the vehicle. So it takes a lot of work. So we're not there yet. Is ADAS CoPilot Pro available outside the United States? The answer is no, not today. We're presently working on a Canadian database. We get some Canadian VINs. We don't get 100%. So we're really not trying to make this available in Canada, only because I don't want our Canadian friends to be disappointed in our product. All right. So as I said, between now and the end of the year, we're allowing anybody that wants to use the system to use it for free. All you have to do is go on the website, fill out a form, and you can use it for no charge. Okay. But that will end December 31st. Beginning January, by the way, if you're going to pre-order before January, it's $119 a month. And if you have ALLDATA, that includes the integration with your ALLDATA platform. $119 a month, okay? And it includes everything I showed you. Now, the pricing, this includes up to 200 VIN decodes. Anything over 200 a month, there's an additional fee for a VIN decode. So if you want to pre-order on the website, it's $119. That will be good through the end of the year. Once January comes, okay, there's going to be two pricing options. One without integration to all data. So if you don't want all data, you just want to get access to all the ADAS information and all the OEM information and iCar information, the monthly subscription will be $99 a month, and the annual subscription will be $999 a month. Again, no integration with all data. After the end of the year, if you have all data and you want to integrate with all data through the app, the monthly subscription will be $159 a month, and the annual subscription will be $1,799 a year. So again, if you have all data and if you want the integration with the repair procedures, $159 and $1,799 a year. All right. So I tried to keep this under 40 minutes, which I think I accomplished. So with that said, let me go to the chat first and let me read what we have here. Well, we have a little comment. Thanks, John. This is scary. Too many. It's so true, John. It says too many people believe if there's a code, there isn't a problem. Everybody on this call, listen to this. This is John from BASF. Calibrations typically do not set codes. Okay. So just because there's no light on the dash doesn't mean you don't have a problem. Please write that down in big black letters in your shop. Mickey, will this be available as a recording? Mickey, yes, it will. It is being recorded as we speak. And so all of you who are on the call will get a follow-up from this within the next 24 hours. It'll take us a little time to edit some of the things out of it. But yes, Mickey, this will be made available to everybody via email to a link, and it'll be on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, here's a question. How early is this data available? Is the data available as soon as the vehicle hits the dealership? That is a great question. So it depends, and I'm not trying to bypass the question. If the data we're getting is from the build data, the answer is as it actually is going to be available before the vehicle hits the dealership. Now, if it's not build data, and again, I'm not all cards on the table. We don't have build data from all the manufacturers yet. I just got a great email from a provider that in 2022 we are going to have access to all build data for all manufacturers except one, which is going to be really exciting for us. But to answer your question, if it's not build data, as soon as a window sticker is created for a vehicle, that information is already in our system. So again, it depends on the data source, but the answer is in most cases, when a vehicle hits the dealership, we have access to that information. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. At this point, for anybody who has a question they want to ask live, or they want to make fun of me, or whatever they want to do, wish everybody Merry Christmas or whatever, you can unmute yourself and please feel free to ask any questions that you'd like to, because we still got some time. Any questions from anybody? No? Okay. We have a quiet bunch. Everybody's thinking, oh, next week's Christmas, blah, blah, blah. So again, what I want to stress is anybody who's on this call, anybody who goes to our website, they can go and sign up and use the platform for free between now and the end of the year. Love to have you sign up and try it. It's out there. It's a little bit of a process. You can't get the app today because it's not commercial. We got to sign you up on Apple. If you're an Apple user, I have to sign you up on Test Flight. If you're an Android user, I have to send you a link. But again, free use to everybody who wants to try it between now and the end of the year. Any questions or any comments? Does anybody think this is a good idea?
Hey, I think it's great stuff there, Frank. A lot of stuff wrapped up in one little package, and kind of relates to something I've been working on is trying to get people to scan vehicles, validate calibrations, and measure vehicles right at the blueprint opportunity. And this tool feeds right into it.
Thank you, John. You're so right. You're so right on what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, as soon as that vehicle arrives, we have to know what's on that car. We have to. I mean, you can't wait till the car is being disassembled. Think about it. If I'm waiting till the car gets disassembled, what kind of conversation can I have with the consumer? Not much, right? So real critical to get the information up front.
Hey, Frank, this is Luis. Any idea on when your calibrate and your validation programs are going to go live?
They are both live today, Louis. Calibration CoPilot, to just give you a quick update, that product is specifically designed for businesses that are performing ADAS calibrations for their multiple stores in their MSO environment and or other businesses within their community. So that's available today. It's available live. We've got customers using it. Like we have customers that love it. And Test Drive CoPilot, the validation process, has been available, oh God, a little over a year now. So you can go for Calibration CoPilot. There's a little bit of a process that we have to go through to set it up. So you just can't go online and set it to buy it or subscribe to it. But Test Drive, you can go on tomorrow, sign up for it, and you can start using it tomorrow. And so that's been available again, like I said, for over a year. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments, concerns?
What? Hey, Frank, it's Mickey.
Hey, Mickey.
Hi. Good. One thing when I recently had Frank on my podcast, the Body Banging podcast, and one thing that you mentioned that I didn't hear you talk about here today was how great it is for insurance because you now have Faqs to be able to give them when you're doing the repairs. And I think that's something really important to talk about.
Oh, Mickey, thank you. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. So if you think about it, by knowing up front what's on the vehicle, it's going to make it easier for the people to write the estimate of repair. But if you start to think about the repair procedures, the ease of access to all that information that we've put into this platform, all of that information, by the way, whether you're in all data or whether you're going to the OEM position statement documents, those are all available for you to download and put into your claim file to get that information to your insurance companies get paid. And if they, and by the way, most of you know this because you're in the business, the insurers are in as bad a shape about information about ADAS and calibration as the rest of our industry, if not worse. And so, whether you like it or not, part of your role in this world we live in is to educate the insurers as well. So Mickey, thank you. Yeah. The information in here should be used as part of your reimbursement strategy for your ADAS sales and calibrations. And then for Lewis, who brought up test drive, the other thing is, if you're not documenting your test drive, you have no proof to say you had to do a test drive. And by the way, if you don't have proof you did a test drive, how do you get reimbursed? Or how do you prove you did a dynamic calibration, right? How do you prove that today? So again, Mickey, thank you for the reminder. Really appreciate that. Anybody else? Any other questions? Any other comments?
Hey, Frank, it's Tom. It's Tom Deacon. How are you?
Fine, Tom. How are you, sir?
Doing great, buddy. Hey, I love the concept of the electronic repair plan, right? I think that's really where you're going with this. The concept of vehicle mapping and, using the POSCA markers to identify all the ADAS components that are on a vehicle, put that on a side window. You create a visual cue for the shop, for the production management team. It's very useful in production management and in breakout meetings throughout the day for an understanding of what has to happen that day electronically on these vehicles.
Yeah, Tom, I agree. And I think what your company does is another component of that.
Correct. Yep. No, it's good stuff. I appreciate it. It was great webinar.
Yeah. And again, for those of you who are in the shop, I mean, you don't have to use our system to do what I'm showing you on the screen here, by the way. If you have a process in place already that you can identify the ADAS technologies or systems up front, you're doing that today, write that stuff on the window. But my guess is, and I can tell you from my personal experience, is 99% of shops do not have a formal way to identify and document the ADAS systems on a car. Just it's all done in a disassembly phase, which is, in my opinion, too late. So thanks, Tom. Appreciate your comment. And again, appreciate what you guys are doing with your AirPro company. You guys are, you're a big part of that ADAS blueprinting process. Anybody else? Well, if not, thank you all very much. If you haven't taken the time to try the ADAS CoPilot, go on our website, sign up. It's on the front page at the bottom, on the front page of ADASCoPilot.com. We'll set you up. You'll have to the end of the year to use it. You can give us feedback. You can tell us how good or how bad you think it is. But we believe we're gonna change the way ADAS and calibration information is accessed and identified. So again, thank you all very much for your time, and wish you all your families and everybody in your organization a very Merry Christmas and a great New Year's. So thanks again, everybody.